Imagine this. You're hiding out in a dusty frontier village, surrounded by friends who would risk their lives for you. You've cheated death again and again, and just weeks earlier you walked out of a courthouse in broad daylight, whistling as you went. You're Billy the Kid. But now, the circle is closing. Sheriff Pat Garrett is closing in, and the people you trust may not stay loyal forever. Tonight, Betrayal will ride under the desert moon, and by sunrise, legend and reality will collide in a single gun. After his escape on April 28, 1881, Billy roamed the Pecos Valley like a ghost. He was everywhere and nowhere, popping up at ranches, flirting at dances, laughing with friends. The people who sheltered him weren't just loyal, they adored him. To them, Billy wasn't a killer but a young man caught in the storm of politics and greed. They remembered his kindness, his smile, the way he could tell a joke even in the darkest times. But every time Billy showed his face, Garrett heard about it. And every time, the noose tightened just a little more. The jailbreak had humiliated law enforcement. Newspapers mocked Garrett, asking how the most wanted man in New Mexico had simply walked away. For Garrett, catching Billy again wasn't just duty. It was personal redemption. His reputation, his authority, even his manhood was on the line. People whispered that maybe Garrett wasn't as capable as he claimed. And whispers in the Old West could be deadlier than bullets. Garrett organized posses, scoured the valleys, and questioned anyone who might know Billy's whereabouts. The kid, meanwhile, slipped through arroyos, vanished into the desert, and reappeared like a phantom. For weeks, it was a deadly game of hide and seek, played across canyons and mesas. Billy had allies, but even allies have breaking points. Feeding, hiding, and protecting a fugitive made ranchers nervous. Garrett leaned on them hard. Talk, he warned, or face the consequences. Slowly, whispers began to leak. Names, places, hints that Billy was holed up near Fort Sumner. Billy knew he was hunted, but he trusted in two things: his own quick reflexes and the loyalty of his friends. Both had saved him countless times before. But in July 1881, those two shields would fail him. Fort Sumner wasn't much of a fort anymore. Just a cluster of adobe homes, saloons, and farms on the Pecos River. It was a place of mixed cultures: Hispanic families, Anglo settlers, Native people, and drifters. Billy fit right in. He spoke Spanish fluently, danced at the fiestas, and charmed his way into every gathering. To some, he was practically family. He could slip into a kitchen, share a meal, and be welcomed like a son. But beneath the music and laughter was fear. Everyone knew Pat Garrett was coming. Every shadow, every rider on the horizon carried tension. People loved Billy, but they also loved staying alive. And when Garrett arrived, loyalty would be tested. In frontier towns, survival often outweighed friendship. And in the summer of 1881, fear outweighed love. By July 1881, Garrett had his information. He knew Billy was near Fort Sumner, likely staying at the home of friends like Pete Maxwell, the son of a powerful ranching family. Garrett gathered his men, planned carefully, and waited for the right night. The desert was hot, the air thick, and the moon bright enough to cast shadows. It was the kind of night where even silence felt heavy. Garrett understood something crucial. To catch Billy, he couldn't just chase him. He had to trap him, and that meant using the very people Billy trusted most. This wasn't just a manhunt. It was a chess game, with Garrett moving pieces across the board and Billy unaware he was walking into checkmate. Accounts differ on who betrayed Billy, but betrayal was certain. Someone whispered the truth. Maybe a friend under pressure. Maybe someone who feared Garrett more than they loved Billy. Historians like Robert Utley and Frederick Nolan still debate the details. But by the night of July 14th, Garrett knew exactly where to go. Pete Maxwell's house. Billy, meanwhile, had no idea. He spent the evening nearby playing cards, joking, maybe even planning to see a girl he fancied. To him, danger always seemed a step behind. To Garrett, danger was a tool. He was about to use it to spring the final trap. And here lies the cruelest twist. Billy's greatest strength, his ability to inspire loyalty, was also his downfall. The circle of trust around him cracked, and through that crack slipped Pat Garrett. Picture the scene. Midnight. The Pecos wines carrying the smell of dust and mesquite. Inside Pete Maxwell's adobe house, Garrett and a few men waited, whispering in the shadows. Pete himself, caught in the middle, could hardly sleep. Outside, the night was alive with crickets and the occasional bark of a dog. Billy rode up, unsuspecting. Some say he was barefoot, carrying a revolver in one hand, a knife of beef in the other. Others say he simply wandered in, relaxed, unarmed, except for the pistol always at his side. He stepped into Maxwell's darkened room, peering into the shadows, and asked in Spanish, "¿Quién es? ¿Quién anda allí? Who's there?"
¿Quién es? ¿Quién anda allí?
A shot cracked the silence. Billy fell. Garrett's bullet struck true. The outlaw who had danced, laughed, and defied death again and again lay still on the adobe floor. For the first time, the kid had run out of luck. News of Billy's death spread quickly, but quietly. Some refused to believe it. Others wept. Women in Fort Sumner cut locks of his hair, mourning him as though he were kin. Children remembered his jokes and laughter. To them, Billy wasn't an outlaw. He was the boy who never grew old. Garrett, meanwhile, was hailed as a hero in some quarters and a villain in others. He had killed his old acquaintance, a man barely out of his teens. He collected his reward, but the shadows of doubt never left him. Was it justice? Was it murder? Or was it simply survival in a land where law and lawlessness blurred? And for Garrett, the victory was bittersweet. His name would forever be tied to Billy's. But where Billy became legend, Garrett became the man who shot a legend. History is kinder to outlaws than to the men who end them. Billy's death didn't end his story. It began it. Newspapers spread the tale. Artists sketched his face. Dime novels turned him into myth. The kid who killed 21 men. The outlaw who laughed at the law. The boy who rode like the wind. Some swore he wasn't really dead, that he had escaped again, riding into Mexico or Texas. The legend grew. Bigger than life. Bigger than truth. Even decades later, men stepped forward claiming to be Billy the Kid, fueling rumors that Garrett had killed the wrong man. Courts, governors, even modern DNA tests have circled the controversy. No matter the evidence, the story refuses to die. Historians like Paul Hutton remind us, legends survive because they fill a need. In the Wild West, Billy the Kid became a symbol of youth, rebellion, and the eternal fight against authority. Whether you see him as villain or hero, his story endures because it touches something human. The dream of freedom, no matter the cost. The betrayal that led Billy to Maxwell's room remains a shadowy question. Was it Maxwell himself? A friend pressed too hard by Garrett? Or simply the weight of survival in a dangerous land? Whatever the truth, betrayal is what gave Garrett his chance. And in the mythology of the West, betrayal is always a bitter note. It reminds us that even legends can fall. Not by bullets alone, but by trust broken. Billy's legacy grew in part because of that betrayal. It gave his death a tragic dimension, a sense that he wasn't just killed, but sold out. And that, in the language of storytelling, is what turns a man into a martyr. And so, on that moonlit night in July 1881, Billy the Kid's story ended. Or maybe it only truly began. Pat Garrett pulled the trigger, but the echo still rings across America's imagination. In death, Billy became immortal. In our next episode, we'll look at what happened after the trials, the controversies, the endless rumors that maybe, just maybe, Billy lived on. Because legends don't die easily. And Billy the Kid, his never will.